All right, welcome back to another Sunday Night Live edition of Maddie's Rap with author and storyteller Matt D. Talford. Matt D. Talford, enunciate Matthew. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you to those of you who are with me live right now, who've already joined and are in the chat. And thank you to those of you that are watching this video on demand. I'm going to start this off with a little bit of music to sort of set the mood for what I'm going to be talking about tonight. And I'm also going to set my timer once we get started tonight, y'all. I'm going to challenge myself. Y'all know I'm never going to stop challenging myself. So right now, it looks like we got Hot Shot in the chat and B Royalty. Thank y'all for being here, family. I do apologize for getting on a little bit late. I had a little bit of another technology hiccup, believe it or not. So I'm using my onboard microphone because this bad boy decided to die. It literally stopped working right before I went live. So I was doing a little bit of troubleshooting, trying to figure out why the light wouldn't come on. Looks like I may either have to buy a new cable or a new microphone. Not worried about it tonight. The Apple onboard built-in microphone, MacBook Pro microphone is just fine. So what's up, Fair Use? Thank you for joining. Let me set the mood, family. I got a song that, may get me a little copyright notification, but it is what it is. Y'all know I like to come on here and play DJ. And if for some reason it affects the video, then if you're watching it on demand, then the song part will be cut out and you'll see me cut right to the commentary. So let's get this thing started as we wait for some more people to join. Welcome. Thank you for being here. All right, y'all. That was Vanessa Bell Armstrong. That's from her Something on the Inside album. And I don't know what year that was from, but that's the right song for what we're going to be talking about tonight. So let me close that window and get started here. Let's see what we got in the chat. All right. We got 9 people in the chat. Let's get it started, family. I'm going to turn the timer on tonight. Don't laugh at me if I'm still going by the time this timer goes off. But, y'all, I'm going to super challenge myself tonight. For those of y'all that are new to my channel and you're wondering what the challenge is, my regulars know. I like to challenge myself to keep my time like this. And they laugh at me because it always ends up like this. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Thank y'all for being here tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about, well, let me set this timer first, y'all, because I literally do want to, in fact, I've given myself incentive. It is 8:41 p.m. Eastern time, and I do need to go and grab something from the supermarket before they close. So this is incentive to finish in under 60 minutes. So that's what I'm shooting for tonight. Thank y'all again for being here. I know you guys could be anywhere right now, but you're on here with Matt D. Talford, and I do not take that lightly at all. So let me set this timer. I'm going to set it for 1 hour. All right. Time is on, y'all. Time is on. Boom. There we go. I got it set for 1 hour. All right. Here we go, y'all. So tonight, what are we talking about, Matt? This is not going to be like the typical type, like what we did on Friday night, family. Tonight, I just want to talk to you guys. I don't want to, bring up any slides or anything like that, or any video content or anything like that. I do want to share with you a download that I got not last night, technically this morning, because it was like, I don't know, 1:30, 1:45, 2 a.m. this morning that I got this download. And I don't know about y'all, but if y'all in the chat, if y'all sleep cycles have been thrown off a little bit, put a thumbs up in the chat and let me know. I just want to know if it's just me, okay? But I don't know if it's the cosmic forces, the solar rays, the sun's energy, the cosmic energies hitting the frequencies or whatever, hitting the earth, the Schumann resonance. I don't know what it is, but okay. Thank you, Bella. It's not just me. Y'all, my sleep cycles have been crazy lately. So, but with those insane sleep cycles, I've been having some very vivid dreams. Hot Shot, you too? Okay, good. I've been having some very vivid dreams and just getting downloads that have been very, very, very eye-opening. Okay, so this one that I got at dark 30 today, this morning, I'm like, okay, I got to talk about this today. And this is just going to be like a Sunday conversations type piece. So this is perfect for spiritual Sundays. We're talking about the energetic link between authenticity and destiny and how to reach your highest vibration. Now, let me, I don't have a lot of notes. In fact, I just got some points I want to talk about. Space Elf, you too? Okay, good. It's not just me. That's saying a lot too, y'all. Those of y'all that are, if your sleep cycles are off right now, just kind of weird, you probably are getting some of these upgrades that a lot of people have been prophesying and a lot of people in the spiritual community have been predicting were going to be coming in the upcoming years. And that was like as early as or as late as 4 years ago or whatever. People have been predicting this period that we're in right now. And for those of you that follow cosmic transits, you do know planetary transits, that sort of thing. And I'll be talking a little bit about that tonight. This North Node in Pisces, I've been telling y'all this is going to be a very spiritual time. And, you know, the way these planetary transits happen, it's like a peak, you know, it's like a wave. It starts here and then it goes up, it goes up, it goes up, it peaks, and then it starts to wane, just like the moon cycles, just like anything else. You come in, you start to go out, just like a hurricane. Hurricane is building up steam offshore, it hits, and then boom, it starts to lose steam as it's moving off and then moving back out into the water or whatever. Kind of the same thing with this cosmic energy. But y'all, I have to tell y'all, this Pisces North Node, this thing has hit, bam, hard, just like that. Like January, it started coming in. We started feeling some of the early effects before it actually stationed the North Node, which is a lunar node, one of the nodes of the moon, before the North Node stationed direct in the sign of Pisces back in the first week in January. We were feeling some of it as early as September, October back then, but y'all, it's hitting heavy now. And we know that Pisces rules over dreams, spirituality, all of that stuff. So I guess I'm not surprised, but it's been a lot. But anyway, let me open up my my notes, because first thing I'm going to talk to y'all about tonight is what the impetus was behind my starting or doing this video, talking about this topic tonight with you guys. And if you guys got anything you want to add in the comments, please do so, because this is just like open discussion tonight, open conversation. I'm not really teaching anything, though some people might consider it such as we move on in through it. But yesterday, and those of y'all that know, y'all know that I do natal, I'm a natal chart astrologer. I do natal chart readings, interpretations for people. And one of the services that I picked up last year was soul contract readings. And it is based on the work of an author by the name of David. Is it David Ingan? Let me pull up my Kindle app really quick, because I don't have the printed version of this. I went with the Kindle. Nicholas David Ingan, or Nagan, or whatever. He wrote a book called Your Soul Contract Decoded. And there's a company out there that does these, or there's some individual people that do these soul contract readings and decodings based on this work. So I picked it up. I actually bought the book thinking it was like BS. I was like, nah, there's no way somebody can find out what somebody's soul contract is. And what I found out when I read the book is that it really isn't. I think the title was a little bit misleading, though not intentionally. The title says Your Soul Contract. I bought the book because I said, listen, soul contract is that's like Akashic Records confidential. Nobody can know what's in your soul contract but you, okay? So I was like, how can somebody get this? But what I found out when I read it is that it has more to do with your soul plan, okay? The soul contract, that's deep, y'all. That is deep. And for those of y'all that are new to spirituality, you can look some of this stuff up. You can find different content creators that talk about soul contracts and such. I first learned about them back in January of 2021 with a sister by the name of, I forget the name of her channel right now, but you guys have heard me talk about this before. It's titled Soul Contracts, the Life We Chose Before Birth. And that was the first time I'd ever heard anything about soul contracts. So the more studying I did, the more guided meditations I did, the more self-hypnosis. I call it self-hypnosis because you can listen to there are videos out there that you can listen to and do self-hypnosis. You don't have to actually go to a hypnotist. They work well for some people. For others, they don't work so well or whatever. But I've done like some Akashic Records guided meditations and things of that nature. And I learned more and more and more about it. But anyway, with this particular book, it doesn't really go into the level of detail that you would expect in a soul contract, or if you were to go within, meditate, maybe do some hypnosis, some self-hypnosis, listen to a guided meditation, and tap into your own Akashic Records and find out what's in your soul contract. This isn't like that. This is more or less your plan, almost like a school curriculum. Like, what are the things that you came here to do? And it's based on, just finding out what karma did you come here to clear? What are the talents that you were gifted with pre-birth? And what are your goals for this lifetime? And so, and then you have an overall soul destiny. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe they should call this your soul plan. But the subtitle kind of leads a little bit more to it, because it's discovering the spiritual map of your life with numerology. So that's a little bit more in alignment with what the actual work is about. But anyway, that's a long story. Or I took you all the way around the block to get you to the house next door. That's kind of what I do, y'all know. So anyway, I'm doing a soul plan, soul spiritual map of your life reading for a client yesterday. And I've done a lot of these since last year. And I want to tell you that this particular one, this was the first time that I actually looked at one that didn't have any real heavy energy in it. Okay. And it was, for the client, there was a lot of confirmations like, wow, okay, this explains this explains that. And y'all, for those of y'all that are wondering, the way I do these myself, just a little side note, I don't do a soul contract reading for anyone that has never had a natal chart reading. The company that does this, if you want to just get it done straight up, you can buy the book. You can find out in the back who does them. You could try to do it yourself. You really want to get with somebody that is skilled at giving a proper decoding of the name. And I use my intuition plus my knowledge of the Hebrew character set to do that. And it has been, I've not missed yet. But anyway, they'll do it for you for a fee. There's a lady online that does it for a fee or whatever. But for me, I use it to clarify what is in your natal chart. Okay. Your natal chart helps to clarify. The soul contract clarifies your natal chart, and your natal chart clarifies the soul contract. And the two of them together really give you a good, deep look at what your path is and what you came here to do. So anyway, that's an aside. But with this particular client, all of the other ones I've done, I've seen heavy placements in there. I've seen things that brought up a lot of emotion for people. And I typically tell people, look, bring some Kleenexes or whatever, because you might see something, or something might come out that causes a memory that causes you to have tears or whatever. And we really didn't get any of that throughout the whole soul contract reading. Now, there was a moment at the end there as an add-on, and I'm not going into any detail or anything like that. But the thing that sort of, I think, helped to put me on this was it just reminded me that we each came here to do something unique. We each came here to do something significant, if you will. And a lot of that requires you to, first off, remember who you are. Remember who you are. And so we get into this, and I'm hearing these themes come out. And because I had done a natal chart reading for this client, I was like, this explains this. And I'm pulling the natal chart up and we're reading, I'm looking at it side by side. And I'm like, okay, so this is why you were created with this particular placement. You got this sign in this house, and you got this planet in this sign in this house. And this is why you were given these particular astrological placements, because they support the mission for which you were sent here to do. And as I'm looking at that, I'm realizing that, wow, this really is a beautiful journey. It really is a beautiful journey if we just remember what we came here to do. And part of the agreement, you'll see this in some of these near-death experiences videos where people are talking about what happened to them on an operating table or whatever, the crash site or whatever. And a few minutes they were gone felt like an eternity, and all of this stuff. You sort of get this theme that we are born, but we have to, part of the agreement of being born is forgetting who you are and leaving behind the knowledge of who you were in the in-between life and who you were in the previous lifetime. And it's almost like a game we play. It's like you forget it, then you come back and you have to remember it. And you go through all of this stuff in life. And so in looking at her, this particular client's soul contract, I was reminded of my own. And I said, you know what? Let me go back and look at my own stuff. And I was like, I'm on track, but there's some other areas where I need to make sure I'm focusing on and I'm not getting off track. Because the truth of the matter is, we have a finite amount of time. It's like a video game. Like it's like a timed video game. If you don't finish all of your particular stages or objectives within a certain time frame, then the game is over, and then you have to start over and play again. It's the same thing with life. We hear these themes. I recommend this movie to you guys all the time. I talk about the 2014 Tom Cruise movie, Edge of Tomorrow, and how that theme is really underscored in that movie. Hey, this is the mission that you were chosen for. You're going here, spoiler alert, you got to defeat this alien race, or you got to defeat this race of mechs or robots or whatever, because if you don't defeat these invaders, then humanity dies. and you're the guy. You're the one guy that's going to lead them to victory. You were chosen for this. Nobody else can do this but you. And so he goes through, boom. Each time he dies, he's right back to where he started, and then he remembers a little bit more. It's like, wait a minute, something's familiar about this. Okay. I remember. I'm not going there. That feels like the wrong thing to do. I'm not. And he goes until eventually he solves the problem. He solves the puzzle. His destiny is fulfilled. Okay. I'm going to talk about that. So Live Rocks, what's up? B Royalty, what is up? What she said headaches as well. Yeah, listen, y'all stay hydrated in this season. Stay hydrated. Make sure I don't give any medical advice or anything like that. But if you don't have any issues with blood pressure or anything like that, make sure you're putting a little bit of sea salt in that water so you're getting those minerals too. Just like straight up water isn't the most hydrating things. One of the things I do is I drink my either purified water or like reverse osmosis or spring water. I don't always buy spring water because I don't trust all of it. It just depends on if my brand is available. But I do add a little bit of sea salt, and I add a little bit of like lemon juice or lime juice or something in it as well, just to make sure it ends up tasting like Gatorade without the sugar. So you hydrate your body well. You got to have that salt in your body. You have to. Just like the ocean, as without, so within. You're not fresh water inside your body. You got to have that salt. So anyway, so getting back to this, why am I? Let me not look at that timer. That timer's staring me in the face. So let me move on. But anyway, so that was part of the catharsis. That was part of the catalyst for me doing this, or impetus for me doing tonight's video. Now, that was yesterday. That I think put me in the right mindset for what happened last night, because I'm thinking about and I'm reflecting on that experience, and it really was a beautiful experience. I left there feeling like, y'all, I have just met someone who has a high rank and high authority in the spirit realm, because this person is amazing. They got an amazing journey. Their story up to this point has been amazing. As a natal chart astrologer, I usually will preview when somebody says, hey, can you do a reading for me? I get their information up front and preview, because if their energy is not right, I can't absorb that. So I'll tell them, hey, look, I'm not the reader for you. Maybe you want to go try a different reader or whatever like that. So, but usually if I preview it and it's beautiful energy, I can tell a lot about a person and their energy without even meeting them, just by looking at their natal chart. And this individual has beautiful energy. So I was excited to do this soul contract reading, and I learned so much about that person. And in learning about that person and sharing that experience and helping them to decode what their purpose is, I learned a lot about myself, and it was and life in general. So, which led me up to this 2 a.m. download that I had, and this download was regarding the observation of the movement of the planets and the stars. Okay, so what did I learn from that? How did this download affect me, y'all? This particular download, it's like it almost wasn't a download. It was almost like a one-on-one session with either my spirit guides or the Most High Himself, or just somebody from the other side, an energy from the other side. It's almost like I was sitting down getting a one-on-one tutoring session, and it was like I was thinking about myself. And y'all, listen, astrology, y'all hear me talk about this a lot. Astrology is natal chart astrology is learning who you are, for what reason, so that you can better relate to others, so that one, you can fulfill your purpose, but two, you can better relate to others, and three, better understand others. When you know yourself, it helps you to easier navigate this life plane. It helps you to understand other people better. It makes you less judgmental. When you finally get a natal chart reading, and you finally, whether you do it on your own or you get a professional to do it, once you learn yourself, it makes you a lot less judgmental, because you're like, you know what? That person over there is different from me. And the same creator, the same God, the same source that created me, created that person. So who am I to judge that person just because they're different from me? If we can't get along, we just can't get along. If we can get along, great. If we can't get along, we can't get along. There's somebody out there they'll get along with. There's somebody out there they vibe with. It's the same way. So I'm being schooled now in this time where I'm half awake, half asleep. And it's like, Matthew, observe the motion of the planets. Look at how the planets move. Look how they're in perfect alignment. Look at how they are in perfect synchronization. Look at it's like an orchestra. It's like a celestial orchestra. You got different instruments in an orchestra, but they all play together. And they come in, they're cued in different time. You might have the tubas over here, the violins over here, the bassoon over here, the cello, the trumpet, the saxophone, the clarinet, the flute, whatever, the drums, the cymbals, whatever, the xylophone, whatever, to make this beautiful symphony. They all do something different. And so when you're looking at the planets move in accordance to divine will. They move in accordance to divine will. Let me make sure I'm staying on point, y'all. I really didn't want to use any notes because sometimes the notes will throw you off a little bit when and these aren't notes really, they're just points. Sometimes they'll throw you off when you're just trying to have a conversation. But when you observe the planets in the stars, Mars, for example, we're talking about this Mars retrograde that ended today. It was Mars retrograde in the sign of Cancer. And let me tell you something. If you have any cardinal placements, Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, any major placements, this retrograde was heavy. It was like, whoa. It was literally like, whoa. It was almost like being torn open. It was almost like being an old chest in a closet that somebody pulled out. They couldn't, it was an old lock they couldn't find the key to. So they took a crowbar and broke the lock off, opened up the lid to the chest and started pulling stuff out to reorganize. And that was what this Mars and Cancer retrograde was like for me. I don't know about y'all out there, but for me, remember, Mars is the sign of conflict, the sign of war, the sign of struggle. Not Mars, not sign. I'm sorry, planet, energy, conflict, struggle, action, war, those sorts of themes. And Cancer rules over home, family, and the emotions. So if you've got major Cancer placements, major Capricorn placements, major Aries, major Libra placements, that was a rough period from the roughly around the beginning of January through February 23rd. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it's over. So I don't know about y'all out there, but that was rough. I learned a lot. But to use that for an example, Mars, which is the planet of aggression, does not like to be in the sign of Cancer, because Cancer is that energy of home and family and nourishing. And Mars is like, nah, let's tear some stuff up. But Mars had to move through that sign of Cancer, to which it was retrograde. So it was in Leo. It moved backwards into Cancer. I told y'all retrogrades are course corrections. They're opportunities to go back and do things that perhaps settle things that weren't settled before, depending on what that sign is. And that's the area that it's going to govern. That's the area it's going to do. And then you also look at what house you have that sign in. For me, I won't go any more into my chart, but let me just say that that was a rough period. So, but it's eventually going to move out of that energy and then back into Leo. So the message there is this too shall pass. Now, again, when you're observing the planets, those planets do what they do. The one thing the planets don't do, and I'm setting this up, y'all, to compare it to us, because each and every person, whether you're watching this video or not, has all of those planetary energies in you to some degree, some portion. Maybe you don't have, you got a planetary energy in you. Maybe you don't have all of the same signs. Okay. Like I'm a Mercury in Sagittarius. Somebody else might be a Mercury in Capricorn. Okay. That's just how it goes. And I don't have any planets in Pisces. Other people might have planets in Pisces, but everybody's got a little taste of all those energies because you got 12 houses, and each one of those houses map to one of those 12 signs. So why am I saying all of this? I'm saying this because each of us has a little bit of all of the planetary energies in us, and each of those planetary energies covers one particular area. Mercury, for example, communication and learning. Okay. Communication, learning, technology, which is kind of external to us, but we use it. Venus, love, relationships, partnerships, that sort of thing. Beauty, appearance, all of that. That's Venus. Mars, aggression, war, conflict, action, how we take action. It's also our sexual energy. If Venus is the feminine energy, it's about love, partnerships, relationships. Mars is about that. It's aggression. So it's about the masculine energy. It's about the sexual nature. Everybody's got that. Okay. That's Mars, aggression, all those other things. Okay. How we fight, how we take action, and how we make love. Okay. Venus is how we experience love. Mars is how we make love. Okay. And then you get on into Jupiter. Jupiter is your gifts. It's your energy of expansion. It's your energy of abundance. It's your energy of gifts. Gifts come without repentance. That's your Jupiter sign. Okay. It's the planet of blessings as well. Then you get on into your Saturn. Saturn is the energy of Jupiter. Yeah, I'm going right. Saturn is karmic lessons. What do we come here to learn? What are our restrictions? What's being held back from us while we learn our lesson? What did we come here to do? What is being kept away from us until we demonstrate proficiency in an area, in that sign and house? That's Saturn. It's also the ruler, the governor of time. Okay, time, karma, lessons, structure, all of that stuff. That's Saturn. Then you get into Uranus. Uranus is how we rebel. How do we take how is unexpected? Uranus rules over unexpected activity. Boom, out of nowhere, out of the blue. What is the energy that we operate in when we're moving out of the blue? Also, Uranus is the sign of freedom. Jupiter is freedom too, but Jupiter is freedom more so of movement. Jupiter's more physical freedom. Uranus is more freedom of expression and freedom of thought. That's that. You can't. Jupiter refuses to be held down. Uranus refuses to be held down. Jupiter's telling you, I'm not going to be held down. Uranus is that FAFO factor. Like, you F around and find out that I'm not going to be held down. This is how that happens. Everybody's got a little Uranus in them. A lot of the astrologers don't play up that Uranus energy enough, but it is a very real part of who we are. So when you see somebody do something out of the blue, out of the expected, the way they do it has to deal with their Uranus sign. Okay. And then the house is going to be what area is that energy more focused in for that person. Okay. So that's Uranus. Uranus is unexpected. It's revolutionary. It is that Aquarian energy. It is, hey, Uranus rules over Aquarius. So it is, hey, this is the energy you use when you're stepping away from the norm. You're thinking outside of the box. You're doing something that goes against the grain. That's Uranus. Then you get into Neptune. Neptune is about dreams. It's about visions. It's about spirituality. To some degree, it's about emotion as well, because it's ruled by Pisces. But Neptune is intuition. And then you get into Pluto. Pluto is our change energy. It is our regeneration energy. It is our destroy this and replace it with something better energy. That is Pluto. Okay. Pluto is also considered the planet of power. So each of us has all of these energies in us. But the thing that you notice about the cosmos is, though each one of these planetary energies does something different, they stay true to themselves. Pluto, even though it is the energy of change, it doesn't try to change Mars. It can't change Mars. Mars is not going to change for any other planet, and no other planet tries to change Mars. Venus could care less about Mars being the planet of aggression. Venus is the planet of love and beauty. So Venus could care less about Mars. Venus is not going to get aggressive because Mars is. Venus is going to stay about beauty. Y'all see where I'm going with this? Venus is going to stay about beauty. Mars is going to stay about war. Hey, Venus, you looking good over there, but I got to go over here and that's what I do. Okay, I'm the warrior. I'm the protector of you, Venus. Venus is like, all right, well, go ahead and protect me. I'm the beautifier. Okay, but the bottom line is, these planetary energies, they move in concert without disrupting the other. Okay, they may come within a certain, what's called in astrology, orb of each other. An orb is anywhere from, you're not going to have two planets at 0-degree orb or anything like that. They're not typically going to be on top of each other in the same sign, but they could come within a certain degree of each other. Now, they could share a degree in a different sign. Okay, they could both be at 0 degrees of a different sign. They could be at 10 degrees of a different sign, and that could produce some type of either harmony. It could be a harmonious aspect, or it could be a conflicting aspect. It could be a harsh aspect or a harmonious aspect, depending on what degree they share or how close they are together, perhaps in the same sign or in different signs. So this is just a rough and dirty lesson on planetary transits. Okay, I'm not a transitory astrologer. I don't follow the transits as much. I got other people I watch for the transits. What I care about is knowledge of self, and that comes from the natal chart. but I'm getting there. Okay, this is we're getting around to talking about the energetic link between authenticity and destiny. But I got to set the table for you before we eat. Okay, so now the key to remember is when you're observing the movement of the planets, and this was my instruction this morning, lying in the bed at 2 a.m. Think about how these planets move. They all move in concert. Sometimes one planet will get a little too far out, and then boom, they hit a retrograde, and that retrograde motion brings them back into alignment. But they move in accordance with divine will, and they stay on their axis. They quote unquote stay in their lane. Okay, they stay in their lane. Mercury is never going to jump out to the lane where Pluto is, where Mercury takes 240 years to make a transit. That's never going to be with Mercury. Mercury makes its transit it goes retrograde 3 times a year, 3-4 times a year. Mercury is moving, it's quick. It's on a shorter ellipsis, okay, smaller, tighter ellipsis. And then you get out to Venus, it's a little bit further out, and then Mars is a little bit further out, then Jupiter, then Saturn, and so on and so forth. So, but they all quote unquote stay in their lane, and they do not disrupt the other planets from the sense of changing the energy or rubbing off. No planet rubs off on the other one, so to speak. Okay, no planet rubs off on the other one, but all of these planets in concert affect us. But we should be looking at the movement of the planets. I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that in a minute. Why? As above, so below. As above, so below. So what are we saying, Matt? What do you mean as above, so below? Talking about authenticity and our destiny. As above, so below. What does that mean, Matthew? Okay, what that means is if the planets aren't trying to change each other, then why do we do it? Why do we do it? If the planets aren't allowing another planet to change them, if a planet is not allowing another planet to knock it off of its ellipsis, I hope I'm using that word right, y'all. Let me look that up because I'm a stickler about that. Ellipsis. Ellipse. Ellipse is okay. Yeah, maybe I'm spelling that wrong. Hang on. Ellipsis, the omission. No, I didn't use that right. Okay, I didn't use that word right. Okay, ding me on it. But it's orbit. Let's just use orbit. None of these planets are changing their orbits for the other planets, and none of the planets are trying to force the other planets to change their orbit. They all stay in their orbit. And they move in sync with divine will. Okay, we get into trouble because we don't do that. And yet we have these planetary energies in us, as above, so below. So my observation this morning was, okay, he's showing me that for a reason. He's showing me how to alleviate one of my own frustration points. And y'all, it comes with having a lot of leadership energy in your chart, okay? When you've got cardinal energy in your big three, I'm cardinal sun, a cardinal moon, and a cardinal rising sign. Sometimes it is easy to get to where that leadership energy wants to, it has a job to do. The cardinal signs kick off the seasons, okay? The fixed signs, they're in the middle, they're the thick of the seasons. And then the mutable signs, they manage the changing of the seasons, okay? So a cardinal fire is Aries, that kicks off the spring. Fixed fire is Leo, that's the middle of the summer, okay? And then mutable fire, Sagittarius, that hands fall off to winter, okay? That passes off. That's kind of how that works. So same thing with the cardinal sun, cardinal water, Cancer kicks off summer, and then cardinal air, Libra, kicks off fall, and then cardinal earth, Capricorn, kicks off winter. So when you got those cardinal signs, the cardinals set direction. The fixed follow, they carry out, they execute the orders, and then the mutables, they're the change managers. Hey, let's pass. It's time to pass this thing off. This work is done. It's time to move it off. They also help with adjusting. Hey, it's time to make an adjustment. Those are the mutable signs. So when you got that much cardinal energy, sometimes it's like you have to check yourself and say, hey, listen, you don't want to impose your will or your expectations onto others. And that was a point of frustration for me. Yeah, it was. I'm being transparent tonight, y'all, because this might help somebody. And I'll come around to those other signs or those other modalities later, because there's some effects that you have sometimes if you're fixed. So sometimes when you're fixed, you're like non-budging, and sometimes you have to be what you are, but at the same time you have to understand that you are here with others. Okay, so there's a fine line. I'm gonna come back to the authenticity. I'm gonna come back to it. So anyway, as above, so below. If the planets are not trying to change the other planets, then why do we do this with each other? If Venus does not allow Mars to change its very nature, why do we allow others to change who we are? Right? Right? If Venus stops being the planet of love, and I love talking about Venus, y'all, because I love going outside at night and looking up in the southwestern sky, depending on what time of night it is. It's usually right after sunset. I love going out and looking out at the southwestern sky and just seeing this beautiful white light. It's just so bright. It's the brightest star in the sky, y'all. Venus is the brightest star, and it's just so beautiful to look at. It just is. And it's no wonder Venus is called the planet of beauty. No wonder people that have Venusian energy, they're hard to look away from. When you got people that have Venus placements or the Venus chart ruler or whatever, they're difficult to, Venus being, Taurian or Libran energies in certain, especially in the rising signs, they're difficult to look away from. That's that Venus energy. When you're looking up at that sky at night, Venus is like, you can't stop looking at it. It's just like captivating. Yeah. But my point is, if Venus says, you know what, I think I want to be Mars, then first of all, now you no longer have that brightest light in the sky. And then number two, where's the love energy going to come from? Where's the partnership energy going to come from? Where's the beauty energy going to come from? Venus has to be Venus. Otherwise, there's no love, beauty, any of that. Mars has got to be, if Mars says, nah, I don't want to be the warrior planet anymore. I think I want to try to go put some makeup on and be Venus. Well, what happens now when you got to have that, when you need somebody to step up and take action? There's no Mars there. So the planets operate in their authenticity. They always do. They never change. Why do we do it? Why do we do it, right? Why do we do it? So I want to talk now about this revelation about authenticity and destiny, okay? And it's specifically because you're the level of authenticity and destiny are inextricably connected. Let me say that again. Authenticity and destiny are inextricably connected. How so? How so? Your authenticity guides you and leads you into your destiny and the accomplishment or the achievement of your destiny. If you're not being authentic, one, you may not even learn what your destiny is. And two, even if you know what it is, you're darn sure not going to hit it. You're not going to hit that target if you're not being authentic. All right. Let me give you some examples, because this is going to be practical now. Let me check some comments really quick before I go to this. Let's see. All right. Hotshot said, been feeling sluggish too. Yep. Headaches. I have Mercury in Aries. I couldn't speak for a whole month. It's like I lost my words. I only had thoughts. Wow. Saturn in Aquarius. Oh my. She said, I have Mercury in Aries, space elf, and I never could speak, and it's sharp and to the point. Wow. What's up, Allie? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining Beauty of Core Physics. Thank you for joining again, Space Elf, Lyrox. Karen, what's up, Karen? Thank you for joining. Space Elf said, Taurus Sun, I don't like the budget. Exactly. Beauty of Core said, math show on fifth chakra was awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Beauty of Core Physics. I appreciate that. So let's get back to talking about this authenticity thing that I mentioned. I want to talk about a couple of polarities. Here's what I mean. On one end, you have people who stay connected to individuals, groups, places, jobs, and situations that they really don't want to, and or they know they should not be connected to. Think about that for a minute. Why do we do that, though? Pardon me. Why do we do that? Why do people stay in these jobs for years that they really don't want to be in? Why do they stay in these social groups that They either don't want to be in or they know they're not good for them. It's because they're not being authentic. On the other end, you got people who avoid connecting to individuals, connecting to groups, connecting to places, connecting to jobs and or situations that they really want to be connected to. Or they know there's something inside pulling them toward those different individuals, groups, situations, jobs, places, or whatever, but they don't do it. Why is that? It's a lack of authenticity. It's a lack of authenticity. Let me get through these bullet points, and I'm gonna go raw dog, y'all, because this is why I don't like notes when I just want to come on and have a conversation. Because sometimes, anyway, let me keep going. Polarity 1: why people stay connected to individuals, groups, places, jobs, and or situations that they really don't want to or know that they should not be connected to. It's real simple. In most cases, those people that stay in situations that they know they shouldn't be in, or that something is calling them away from, or that they really don't want to be in, but they stay there anyway, they do it because they're afraid that if they leave those situations, they might miss out on something. They might miss out on something. Maybe there's a shiny, they call it the shiny coin syndrome. Maybe there's a shiny coin that they see that they want or they think they want. Remember, shout out to Beauty of Core Physics. It's talking about the last live I did. Y'all go check that out. Let me put a link in the chat for those who have not seen that. Let me do that really quick. Let me do that really quick, fam. Let's see. Hang on. And if y'all haven't done so already, please help me out by hitting that like button. It's going to let more people know we're online. Let's see. This was titled How Having a Blocked Throat Chakra Can Make You Susceptible to, hang on, I don't want the audio, but I'll click it anyway. Susceptible to confusion. How having a blocked throat chakra can make you susceptible to confusion and how to fix that. Okay. I copied that. Let me put that in here. Okay. I talked about that a little bit in that video, but it's like, it's the shiny coin syndrome. You see something that you think you want, but the truth of the matter is there's something inside of you saying, nah, this ain't for you. Don't look, you've been on this job long enough. It's time to move. This group of people don't really F with you like that. Why are you hanging around these people? Well, a lot of times people stay in these situations because they feel like, well, this group can help me advance, or they can help me get to the bag, or being a part of this group can give me prestige. But it's eating away at you inside. Why? Because you really don't want to be there. You really don't want to be there. And I talked about that in that video. You check it against that inner knowing. You perceive that this is not some place for you. And so your perception causes you to check it against your heart and against your gut, your inner sight, your inner knowing, and your inner feeling. And you instantly know the truth at that point. This is not some place I'm supposed to be. But you ignore that. And you say, well, but, so you talk yourself into staying when you know you should leave. You talk yourself into staying. And so years go by. And before you know it, you are missing out on, potentially missing out. Well, not potentially. Let me shoot straight. You are missing out on your destiny. You can't even, your destiny, the doors to your destiny cannot even open because you won't leave this room that you don't want to be in. Why? Because you're afraid you're going to miss out on something. Well, but if I leave this, then I can't get that. But yet something is telling you this ain't where you're supposed to be. This is kind of what I got from doing this soul contract. When I do these soul contract readings, it shows you exactly what you came here to do. And it's typically in alignment with your natal chart. What does that tell us? That tells us that we come here with instructions. Your church ain't going to tell you that. Your church or your pastor going to tell you the instruction book is the Bible. But that's a general instruction book. It's general. And it's presented in a religious doctrinal standpoint. So therefore, it is really somebody outside of you controlling your experience. Those are general guidelines, but the specifics of what you came here to do are not found there. They're found in your natal chart. They're found in your personal numerology. They're found in your soul contract. That soul contract decoding, that's all numerology. It uses the 22 original Hebrew characters and your full birth name. And it's beautiful. I don't know how they learned to do that. I'm imagining they got it. The knowledge was passed down from ancient Kemet or something like that. Okay. Ancient Sumeria. That's old. It is definitely not new because there's nothing new under the sun. Sometimes people present something like it's revolutionary. It's not revolutionary at all. You just found it. And because you're the first one to find it in 100 years, 200, no, more than that. You're the first one to find it in 1,000 years. You present yourself as an authority on it. Oh yeah, I found, no, you stumbled across it. Somebody already did the work. Probably somebody here walking around this earth wrote that and they're back. You know what I mean? That's how these things work. But those instructions you come here with. You may not come with the knowledge of who you were. You may not come here with the knowledge of what you came to do, but you come with instructions. We're in the age of knowing it now, y'all. We're no longer in the age of believing. The age of Pisces is back there. It's in your rearview mirror. And y'all know when you're driving, anything you see in your rearview mirror gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller till you no longer see it. Okay? So we fail to reach our destiny when we don't operate in our authenticity. You are not being authentic if you are staying someplace you don't want to be because you're afraid of missing out on something. The thing that you really are, and you are missing out on something, but what you're missing out on has nothing to do with where you are, if that's not where you want to be, or if that's not where your soul urging is. Somebody says this is what you need to do to make a lot of money, so you follow their advice, but it is 180 degrees away from what you actually came here to do. And so this is why a lot of us sit on these jobs and we're not happy. You just got off vacation and you're ready to go back on vacation. What I'm doing with y'all, I could do this every day if I wasn't tired. Or if I was inspired to drop something every day, I would, okay? I love this. This is what I was created to do. What I was doing in corporate America, maybe I was using a portion of what I was creating. I was using a portion of my talent, but that wasn't my full destiny. So 2012 came around, I started feeling the pulling to leave. And a part of me did not want to leave because the money was too good. That's why they call it golden handcuffs. You end up getting trapped in it. Golden handcuffs. Oh, yeah, man, hey, let management know. Hey, I heard in the break room, hey, this guy over here is talking about leaving and perhaps going to go do something else or starting his own company. Starting his own company. Man, we can't replace that kind of talent. Hey, let me set up a one-on-one with him. Hey, guy, hey, come in here. Hey, I just want to talk to you for a minute. Listen, you're doing a great job. We've had some internal meetings and we got more budget to give out bigger bonuses, more money. Listen, we're going to give you a 50% of your salary bonus to stay on another 5 years, plus increase your salary another 25%. What? Yeah, man. It's just our way of saying thank you. They ain't telling you they heard that scuttlebutt, right? So let's go to the other extreme. The other extreme is avoiding connecting to individuals. So that first one, why do we stay with individuals? Why do we stay in these groups that haterade all up and down and throughout the group, but you're staying in it? Why do we stay in these places? Could be a city that just doesn't feel like home. Why are we staying in these cities? Why are we staying in these jobs that don't give us joy? Okay, that don't fulfill our passions? Why are we staying in these situations that are not fulfilling when we know that that's not where we want to be? It's because you're afraid of missing out on something. Another possibility is even worse, really. I mean, in some ways, you're afraid of what somebody else might say about you if you leave. I ran up against that. Hey, man, I think I'm getting ready to leave this corporate job. Really? Where you going? I'm retiring. I'm done with corporate America. Are you crazy, man? Like, where you gonna do next? How are you gonna eat? How are you gonna feed your family? Blah 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 blah. Why would you leave this? Straight up, the guy, I'm not gonna say his whole name, Tom. Guy named Tom I used to work with, and he said, "Why are you leaving, man? Really, this is a great job. You got a great gig. Everybody loves you. Your customer loves you. Blah blah blah." I said, "I'm tired of picking cotton." He looked at me like, "What?" Now he ain't a brother, so he was confused. He was shocked to hear me say that. I said, "I'm tired of picking cotton." He said, "What do you mean picking cotton?" I said, "You picking cotton too." He said, "You're just being funny. Tell me what you're talking about." I said, "You don't think you picking cotton?" He said, no, are you kidding me? What do you mean? I said, go on vacation without asking if you can go on vacation and see what happens. He thought about that for a minute. Fail to deliver on your objectives or your deliverables for the year, okay, and see what happens. You picking cotton. If master say you better fill 25 bags of cotton, you better fill 25 bags of cotton. Then he got it. He got it then. Well, yeah, but you got a great salary. I'm like, this salary is connected to somebody else's will for me. What's my will for me? That's when it starts to click. All right. So that's the one, that's situation number one. Stay in some place that you really don't want to be. One, you think you're going to miss out on something if you leave. Or two, you're worried about what somebody might say about you. You're worried about how somebody might look at you. Is that authenticity? This is the inextricable link between authenticity and destiny. Your destiny is calling you away from there, but you're staying because you're afraid you're going to miss out on something. What's fear? Is fear a high vibration? No, it's not. Or you're worried about what somebody might say or think about you. Is worry a high vibration? No. So you're allowing a low vibrational energy, a low vibrational emotion to keep you attached to some place or something or someone or some group that you really don't even want to be a part of. Check. This is why I'm always bringing that chart up, y'all. Check your vibrations. Always check your vibrations to see where they are. And then ask yourself, is this where I want to be? And if the answer is no, have the courage to pull yourself out of that. Second scenario, why people avoid connecting to individuals, groups, places, jobs, and or situations that they really want to be in or really want to be connected to, or know they have a soul urging that says that's where I'm supposed to be. The number one reason why people do not go where their soul is pulling them. Number one reason, they feel unworthy. They feel unworthy. That's probably the top reason. That's probably the top reason. Lack of worthiness. Hey man, I really want to join that group, man, but man, that group, man, they got stars over there, man. Everybody in that group is a rock star. You're a rock star too. Oh man, I can't do what they do, man. Those people are smart. I got a brother that used to say that to me all the time. He used to be like, nah, Matt, man, I'm calling you because, man, you smart. You're smarter than me. I said, stop saying that. I almost said his name. I said, stop saying that. I have 4 brothers, so y'all ain't gonna know which one I'm talking about. But I said, stop saying that. He's like, nah, man, no. You really are smarter than me. You're smarter than me. I said, the problem I have with pop culture, pop educational culture even, is that they make smart. They use smart and cognitive skills or speed of learning interchangeably when they shouldn't. They use smart and gifted interchangeably when they shouldn't. And so here's what I told them. I said, listen, if you and I both want to be pilots, and I learned everything there is to know about avionics, airplanes, and flying in 6 months' time, in 180 days, I go from not being a pilot to being a pilot. If it takes me 180 days to be a pilot, then I'm there. And you're going to say, man, Matt, you're smart. You did that in 6 months. I said, but guess what? If it takes you 365 days, guess what? At the end of the year, you're just as smart as I am on flying. I'm not a smarter pilot than you are. We now have the same knowledge. It just took you longer to get it. So if you want to be accurate, say, Matt, you're quicker than me. Matt, you learn faster than me. You got no control over the speed. I listen, in this lifetime, I'll never be able to run as fast as Usain Bolt. I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try. Usain Bolt, first of all, is 6'5". I'm 5'11", okay? So me and Usain Bolt can move our legs at the same RPM, and guess what? He's still going to outrun me because he's taller. So he's covering more ground at the same RPM than I am. That's going to make him faster. All right? That's just physics. It's the same thing. If it takes me longer to learn than it takes you, that doesn't make you smarter. That just makes you faster than me. But at the end of said period, at the lowest common denominator, Takes me a year to learn something that takes you 6 months to learn. At the end of the year, I'm just as smart as you are on whatever that subject matter is. So stop downplaying yourself. Stop saying, a lot of times in that situation where you want to be connected to a group, a place, a job, a situation, or people, or whatever, and you're not doing it because you're downplaying yourself. You're like, man, I can't roll in that circle, man. There, no. What you may not even know is that they might want you there. But you end up keeping yourself from what probably is a destined part of your journey, if not the entire journey, a destined piece, a destined path, a destined stage, because you're keeping yourself away from something that you truly desire, because you're like, and it's your soul's urging, because you think that you're not worthy. That's really what it ultimately boils down to. That's the number one reason. That's the number one reason. Now, some people make it about money. Well, I ain't got the money to do that. Listen, where there's a will, there's a way. Excuse me. Where there's a will, there's a way. So, again, that is an example of how being authentic can keep you. Being authentic can pull you into your destiny, but lack of authenticity can take you away from it. Okay? All right? Listen, I'll come to these final takeaways in just a minute. But that's example number 2. People avoid connecting to individuals, groups, places, jobs, and those situations that they really want to be a part of or know that they should be connected to, typically because they feel unworthy. It ain't even really about money, because if it's about the money, if you feel worthy, you're going to attract the money that you need. It'll come to you. You've already said, I'm going to be there. When you make up your mind, you put your foot down, you say, I'm going to be there. If that's where you're supposed to be, everything that you need is going to come to you. And guess what? If that's not where you were supposed to be, but you're trying to go there, it's not going to work out anyway. But at least you've scratched that off your list, and you're not spinning any cycles. We have a finite amount of time in these bodies. So there's no time to not be authentic. If you want to reach your highest vibration, you're only going to get there by being authentic. That's the only way you're going to get there. Lack of authenticity will keep you from your destiny, which will keep you from your highest vibration. How can you be in your highest possible vibration if you're not being authentic? And the same holds true for low vibrational entities. Y'all remember I've said this before, even the devil can only get to a certain vibrational frequency. If you look at that chart, like pride, I think is the in that particular scale I show on the screen, pride is the highest part of that low vibrational rung. But guess what? If pride is as high as he can get, if that devil ain't being authentic, he can't even get to the top of his low vibrational ladder. You have to be authentic in order to get to your destiny. It ain't gonna come to you. You got to go to it. But you only get there by being in the energy of authenticity. So what does that look like? What does that look like? What does that look like in practice? Let me come back to myself, because myself is like, sometimes that's the best example I can give y'all. The epiphany that I had this morning, this early AM, is that one of the top ways that we can do that is this little healthy word that begins with a D: detachment. 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 That goes back to the planets. Sometimes we try to hold on to people, we try to hold on to places because God knows why. God knows why. Detach. I talked about this in the video that in the live that I did last Friday. This Mercury Sagittarius be beating me up sometimes because I forget what these titles are. How having a blocked throat chakra can make you susceptible to confusion. Some of the things I talked about in that. One of the things I talked about in that had to deal with magnetism. Magnetism you draw to you by turning inward and loving yourself first. Be true to yourself. When you are true to yourself, you're going to follow your destined path. So what does that look like, Matt? What does that look like in practice? What that looks like in practice is, you know what? And I'm being very transparent and authentic tonight. For so long, y'all, when I was When I was at my youngest, and it's so funny, y'all, it's like when we're born, and when you observe children, children come in here fearless. They come out the womb fearless. They come into the world believing they can do anything. They feel like they're unstoppable until adults, whether they be parents, family members, clergy, people in the church, people in the school system. As soon as people start telling them, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that, it starts to program them. It starts to program them. And then they start, well, maybe I can't. Then they start doubting themselves. And then their little friend circles. It's like, well, you can't hang with us because blah, blah, blah. So sometimes it starts young. But when you observe babies into their toddlerhood, if they're home before they leave that home, they are typically operating at their highest vibration. It's when they start interacting. Astrology, really, the whole purpose again for astrology is helping us to understand ourselves so that we can understand others. But when you don't understand yourself and you don't know who you are, how can you be authentic? Somebody says, hey man, if you want to roll with us, bro, everybody over here does this. And I thank God sometimes I was protected from a lot of stuff. A lot of it had just had to do with me because there was some stuff I just wasn't going to do. I remember when I was in high school, there was some of the guys that I went to high school with, they decided that they had gone to a local college campus and seen some of the so-called Black Greek organizations. I don't even know why that they got that term. It's like Greek letter organizations. Now I ain't gonna go off on a tangent and tell y'all that the original Greeks did have brown skin. That's a story for another day. But to bring it home, I'm like, why are they calling it? Anyway, I never got into that, and I'm not knocking anybody who is a member of a sorority or a fraternity. I never did it. I'm in a fraternity. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. So and that's not a frat that I pledged to go into. I just like, I'm a soldier. I'm gonna be a soldier. When you're a soldier, you're a veteran. Everybody who served is your brother or sister at that point. But I'm going off on a tangent. The point is, these guys, they went to a local campus and they saw the guys with their shirts on and their letters, and they decided that they wanted to have a frat there in the high school. And so they went and they got some of the same colors that one of the fraternities had, and they put letters on the front of their shirts, 3 letters, and they rolling around school, and they were like, so I'm looking at them and everything. I'm like, oh, what's that? Y'all doing that's pretty cool, whatever. They're like, yeah, Matt, yeah, we got a frat now, man. But nah, you can't be in this frat, man, because we don't want this for you, man, because you're a good dude, man. You too good. Like, man, we drink and we smoke and stuff like that. But I'm like, yeah, say less. Say less. That you lost me at that. Number 2, I've never really been a follower. And I think that has to do with my natal chart. Like, I'm a 7th house. 7th house is your house of partnerships. I'm a 7th house Aries, so I'm good rolling by myself. I always have been. My circles have always been tight. I've always had like 1 or 2 cats that I roll with on a regular. All right, y'all, laugh at me. I didn't beat it. But I'm not gonna go past 90 minutes. I'm not. Okay, so I'm at an hour and 8 minutes. Okay, but it's like, and look at this. I didn't even know that about myself. But it's like I'm a 7th house Aries. Aries is like solo energy. Aries is like, I'm gonna do it the way I'm gonna do it, or I'm not gonna do it. So I was kind of predestined not to be a follower. And that rubs some people the wrong way. It's like, if I say that, they're like, oh, who does he think he is? But you know what? After that download, and I was kind of already on that line, but the download solidified it for me, the epiphany. I have to be authentic. If you don't rock with me because of who I am, then you're not supposed to rock with me. Because if I change who I am to please you, then I'm no longer being myself. And how can I reach my highest vibration? How can I reach my destiny if I'm changing who I am to make you happy? So that's what happens sometimes when children are born. They start changing up who they really are inside to be a part of a group. And then you got the mean girl syndrome, right? How many of y'all females out here have been in have had to face that when you were younger? It's like you already know that they don't like you, but you trying to be like, well, what can I do to be down? And you do all of this stuff to be down, and they still don't like you. They don't like you because your energies don't line up, or your frequencies don't line up. Sometimes you could be the same sun sign, moon sign as somebody, but they're on a different emotional frequency, or they're on a different path. So they're not going to like you. Maybe you have an inner light that shines too bright. But what happens sometimes? We dim that light. But what does the scripture say in Matthew, the 5th chapter? It says, let your light so shine that men might see your good works. What you do. What you do. Got nothing to do with Christianity. The church hijacked that. They hijacked that. Let your light so shine that men might see your good works. What works? What you doing in the community? What you doing for the Lord? You standing on the corner witnessing. No, that wasn't what that was about. Your works, what you do. Let your light shine, not somebody else's. That's the problem. We try to shine somebody else's lights through us, through ourselves. And it never comes off. It never comes off right. I can't be you watching this video. You can't be me. I can learn from you. You can learn from me, but I cannot be you. The problem is sometimes we try to be something or someone that we're not. And then we lose sight of ourselves. And then we wonder why we're in this emotional turmoil. It's because we are not operating in the energy of authenticity. Authenticity will help you to get to your highest vibration. Authenticity can be achieved by aligning yourself. I talk about this a lot on here. Those 7 principles of Mayat. The biggest one of those seven principles of Mayat is truth. 7 principles of Mayat that directly and perfectly maps to Libra energy. You know what Libra energy is about? Balance. You don't have to be a Libra to achieve balance in your life. You don't have to be. You don't have to have any Libra placements in your chart outside of your 7th house placement, or outside of the 7th house, because it's naturally ruled by Libra, and then wherever you got Libra in your chart. You don't have to have any planets in Libra to be balanced. You can choose to be balanced. You know how you're balanced? You're balanced by being authentic. How can you ever reach your destiny? Even if you know it. You can pay for a natal chart reading with Matt. You can pay for a soul contract reading with Matt. But you got to do the work. If you can know it, listen, it's one thing to know the material and then do it. It's one thing to know it. It's another thing to do it. I was in the Army. Everybody in the Army goes through basic rifle marksmanship. Why? Because even if you go into the Army to be a clerk, even if you go into the Army to be a cook, even if you go into the Army to be a member of the clergy, even if you go into the Army to be a doctor, you have to know basic rifle marksmanship, because if the ish hits the proverbial fan and you're in theater and you're getting overrun, you better know how to pop, 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 pop. But guess what? It's one thing to know how to fire that weapon. It's another thing to do it when you're under fire. Not everybody fires their weapon when they're under fire. This is why back in the day, they used to make these armies so big, because they knew that only 25% of that unit was going to be mission effective. 25% was going to get killed. Another 25% was going to get incapacitated via injury. But there was going to be another 25% that went mental and didn't even fire. They documented stories throughout every war, all the wars. They documented stories of soldiers dropping their weapon and curling up in a fetal position and crying for their mama. Documented. They know that 25% of the force is going to say, hey, you know what? I got to shut off my emotions and accomplish the mission. Authenticity. Authenticity is one thing to know who you are. It's another thing to do it. It's one thing to know what you came here to do. It's another thing to do it. I could still be sitting in corporate America working with technology clients. Something pulled me away from that. I said, hey, I want to go be an author. Author? Man, authors don't make any money. Man, everybody says they're going to be an author. Authors don't make any money. Didn't matter. Okay? I've not missed a meal. I'm okay. I haven't missed a mortgage payment. I'm okay. I'm okay. If I'm thirsty, I get water. Well, if I want to go out to eat, I still go out to eat. Okay? One of the things I found out when I left corporate America was just how much money I was blowing. Real talk. I was like, how was I spending all that money? Like, you believe? How was I doing that? I'm like, I'm doing okay with this amount right here. If I had been doing If I had been using this amount right here when I had that amount right there, I'd be caked up like cheddar stacked. You know what I'm saying? I'm being authentic. I'm listen, authentic. I'm being authentic tonight, y'all. So I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up in a minute, but one of the things I talked about, I'm gonna come back to it, detachment. So how this played out for me is going back to the memories of being a child, and you know, again, that seventh house Aries saved me. That's a gift. I all praises to the Most High for wiring me the way He did. That seventh house Aries saved me because it made me such that I ain't got to be a part of your group. I could care less about your group. If y'all want to vibe, we could vibe. If y'all don't want to vibe, I'm good. I'm not kissing nobody's behind to be down with you. Who are you? I'm good. I'm good. I'm a force by myself. I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. But they didn't make me better. I probably made them better. Yeah, I'm being authentic. I'm being authentic right now. Y'all, this was a major epiphany for me. I leveled up. That download leveled me up, y'all. That download leveled me up instantly. I made a timeline shift today, y'all. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all have been through this. Some of y'all are going through it right now. I jumped the timelines today. I realized, hey, you know what? It is okay. It is really okay. Like, it's okay. So the last part of that authenticity, y'all, is letting go. It really is letting go. See, a lot of times we don't understand that it is possible. It is very possible to love those people. I got friends I don't really, we don't vibe like we used to. A lot of that schism happened in 2020 with the pandemic and with the whole presidential election race, and Trump versus Biden and all of this stuff, and me being authentic and voicing my opinion on both of those candidates. I'm like, okay, so I'm supposed to just follow the crowd. Y'all, let's be adult here. Let's have a real conversation. Oh, I'm supposed to just go vote blue because my skin is brown. Really? Like, how has our situation changed as a people, as a collective? How has our situation changed? Y'all, we've been voting blue every 4 years. What has changed? Oh man, you one of them. Really? Really? Oh man, hey man, listen, this thing is coming out, man. Y'all make sure you go get your make sure you get your whoop-de-doo. Man, that came out too fast, man. I don't know about that, man. Like that, this stuff ain't really like they normally go through years of testing. How you gonna push this out? You don't really have enough of a data set to tell what the effects are gonna be on people. I can't, man, you being a fool, man. Look at everything that's coming out about it right now. So that's where that schism happened. I realized that I was on a different frequency than these other folks. And so, but still, you want to hold on because you're like, well, man, these are my friends, man. We vibed around football. We vibed around talking about the ladies. We vibed around, different cars and stuff guys talk about. We vibed around that. But what you learn is you can detach. You can detach from these connections and still love these people. You can love from a detached position. And I think that's part of what keeps us in these situations. We get stuck because we feel like, hey, I don't want to let go. It's okay. Look at the planets. None of the planets try to hold on to the other planets. They all move on their own orbit. They all move in their own individual orbit. And they all move through the signs. And some planets are good in some signs, and some planets are not comfortable in another sign. But guess what? It's going to keep on moving, and eventually you're going to get through it. It's just like driving. It's like taking a road trip and hitting a major thunderstorm. I can't tell you how many times I've been driving out west, or when I was in the Army driving back east, and a downpour hit, a torrential downpour, and you see all of these cars on the side of the road with the flashes on. And I'm like, man, I got to keep going, man. Father, please protect me. Let me. At some point, you just driving. There were times when it got so thick, I was driving by the lines on the street because I could see nothing but those lines. Okay, Matt, you're safe. Just stay in between the lines. Just stay in between the lines. Keep your speed to a minimum. Stay between the lines. You're going to get through this. And then eventually he goes from this to shh. And you're thinking, I just came through this. I can actually turn my wipers off now. But look at how many people are sitting back there in this stationary rain that's not moving. You got to keep going. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. So I leveled up. I made a conscious decision to release. Releasing is healthy. When you can release, it allows you to see yourself better. It allows you to what's the word I'm looking for? It allows you to love on yourself. When you love, I told you all this in the other video. When you love yourself, the current shifts to this way. You start drawing everything that it is that you think you were missing and that you were chasing energetically this way. When you release and start loving on yourself, you start to draw things to you. All right. What's that scripture or something? We had a song about it in church back in the day. It was, if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw all men to me. Do you know that that's actually talking about energy? Again, that's another church hijack. They made that about quote unquote Jesus Christ. If I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw all men unto me. No, that's about lifting your vibrations up into that higher realm. I shared this with my client yesterday. I said, so many people get that Philippians 4:13 wrong. It says, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. But they took that which clause and they projected it as a who. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens. It doesn't say through Christ who strengthens me, because then you make it about the man. It reads, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. That's that highest state of being, that highest level of consciousness. When you hit that, you understand that there's nothing that you can't do. This is why there's a lot of people sitting in church that still feel like they can't do anything that they want to do, but they still quoting Philippians 4:13 because they don't understand the spiritual meaning of that passage, that verse. I can do all things through Christ, that state of mind, that consciousness, that same state of consciousness that the man was in. When he said greater works than these you're going to do, he gave you the secret right there. He was like, yeah, you have the ability to do this, but you have to operate in the energy of authenticity. Be who you are. I'm a Libra rising. I can't be an Aries rising. If I try to act like an Aries rising, I'm going to be out of sync. I'm a Capricorn in the third house. I can say, well, you know what? I'm a Capricorn, so I'm just going to go be a I'm going to be a, let's see. I'm going to be a Capricorn in the 10th house. Guess what? I'm out of sync. I can be a Capricorn in the 10th house and be sitting in a computer lab banging out some code, fixing broken code. But guess what? I wouldn't be on this platform doing this. And so I would be out of alignment because Matt's voice is supposed to be heard. Matt's voice can't be heard if I'm behaving like a 10th house Capricorn. It's still a Capricorn energy there. I'm still working hard. I'm still achieving. I'm still problem solving. But guess what? I end up not doing what I came here to do. Now, where does that show up? Where does that show up? Where does that show up? Final takeaway. Final takeaway number 1. A person's destiny can never be destroyed. It can only be achieved or delayed. How about that? I'm going to say that again. A person's destiny can never be destroyed. What you are destined to do, that destiny is not going away. You don't get to wipe that off your soul contract if you didn't do it in this lifetime, and then you check into the realm of souls and get your life review, your judgment. After death comes the judgment. They made it about judgment is okay. Based on how you lived your life, you either you got the hell line is that way and the heaven line is that way. That's what the church told us. to keep us in the low vibration of fear. The judgment is the life review. Let's judge this person's works. Were their works in alignment with what they said they were going to do, what they were sent to life to do, what they were sent to earth to do? Did it line up? Did they accomplish it? No. Okay. Or why didn't they accomplish it? Okay. It says here you did this when you should have done. Okay. All right. So we know how to design you and design your astrological houses your next lifetime when you're going to be born again, because you don't get to ascend and go to that next reality until you finish this work. So now you got to go back and do that. So you still are sitting there with that same destiny placement. That clock gets reset, just like in The Edge of Tomorrow. Every time he failed, he ended right back up on that airplane. He woke up and he was on that airplane flying again. He stayed in his loop until he reached his destiny, which was to win and save the world and get this huge promotion. That promotion was waiting on him, but he could not get it until he did the work. That celebration was waiting on him, but he could not experience that celebration until he did the work. So guess what? Each time he failed and died, he woke right back up at where he started, on that plane flying over to this across the seas, overseas, to go to this meeting for them to give him what his mission was. So when he finally did it, he woke up on the plane, and when he got to the same spot, instead of him being assigned to go to the battlefront, he was being celebrated as a hero. It's the same way. So your destiny can't be destroyed. I hear a lot of people in the spiritual community online and a lot of these videos now talking about destiny swapping. This person over here is trying to swap destinies with you. Somebody can't swap destinies with you on the fly. They can't do that. I wish people would stop saying, well, you know what? I can't say I wish people would stop saying that, because they got to be them. I wish that the individuals who think they can destiny swap would stop doing it. I wish they would learn that you cannot steal someone else's destiny. All you can do is delay your own because you're trying to do somebody else's. See how that works? All of the destiny swappers out there, all you're doing is not even learning what your own destiny is, because you're looking at somebody else's what looks like a shiny coin. And here's the other part, y'all, because somebody out here needs to hear this. When you are good, when you are gifted, when you are anointed to do something, I ain't trying to use no church term. Anointed simply means chosen, tapped. I'm gonna tap you to do this thing. When you are tapped, anointed, and gifted to do something, it is typically something that you're gonna do so well that it looks easy to everybody on the outside. So they say, oh, well, hey, I want to do what Bella's doing. I want to do what BE Royalty's doing. You can't do what BE Royalty's doing like BE Royalty's doing it. You can't do what Bella's doing like Bella's doing it. Why? You thought it was easy, didn't you? So you got in there and found out. Damn, Bella doing this? I remember when I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital 13 days from going in to leaving out after having had the tumor removal surgery back in 2011. And I'll never forget my boss coming there. And he said to me, Matt, he said, if you ever felt like you weren't appreciated on your job, he said, let me tell you something. He said, I got 2 people working on what you were doing as the case management lead for our team, and they're complaining. He said, they come in my office. How does Matt do this? Really? Because I'm like, man, this kind of sucks. I mean, I'm good at it, but I'm doing it because I'm doing it for the team because it's natural for me. But, you know, I'm out in the hospital. They like, tell Matt we don't mean any harm. We hope that he recovers well. But when is he coming back to work? I don't want to do this anymore. The work that I was doing by myself, he split it between 2 people, and they still couldn't do it like me. See what I'm saying? Pete Sampras, those of y'all that watch tennis, Pete Sampras back in the day, he was so good at that serving volley, it looked easy. You know how many people tried to mimic Pete Sampras in these local tennis clubs and stuff, trying to go play serving volley and getting passed right and left? Oh, I'm gonna come in behind my serve. But how did he hit that ball by me? I'm gonna come in behind my serve. But he lobbed it over me. How'd that happen? You know how Pete Sampras. Well, Pete makes it look so easy. That's because Pete is gifted. Pete is operating in his lane. Pete is Mars being Mars. Pete is not Mars trying to be Venus. Stop trying to be what you are not. Learn who you are and be who you are. Learn what you came here to do and do it well. Do it to standard. Do it to standard. Do you know that you can actually, I'm going to shut my mouth because I'm going to write a book on it. I'm going to write a book on it. But I'm here to tell you that every down to the detail piece of instruction for what you came here to do and how to do it is in your natal charts. All you got to do is find it out and want to do it. So, for those out there thinking you can swap destinies with somebody, you can't. You can't. You never will be able to. All you're doing is building karma for yourself. Because usually destiny swappers, that's a fly name for thief. The thief cometh not but for to kill, steal, and destroy. So a lot of so-called destiny swappers out there are leaving a trail of destruction that they're gonna have to pay for. Oh, you don't get away with nothing. Everything is recorded, buddy. Everything is recorded. Everything's recorded. So a person's destiny can never be destroyed. It can only either be achieved or delayed. And that delay could potentially cause that destiny to span multiple lifetimes. So now that's where the rubber meets the road. Some of y'all have been through hell and high water to get to where you are right now. Do you want to repeat that same cycle just to get to the point of failure? That's what keeps me on my path. I do not want to go through this anymore. The stuff I've been through, if I wasn't built for it, I wouldn't be here. I would not be here if I were not built for it. Some of y'all have been through some stuff that has affected your health. I heard of ladies losing their hair falling out and stuff, some of the stuff they've been through, but they bounced back. They bounced back. Cortisol levels through the roof, but you bounce back. But ask yourself, do I want to do this again or do I want to finish this? My mind always goes back to that. I'm going to say this, y'all, and I'm going to get ready to wrap up. My mind always goes back to that EFMB that I had to do when I was in the Army. EFMB stands for Expert Field Medical Badge. At the unit that I was in at Fort Polk, Louisiana, 5th Infantry Division, they had a mandate. Every medic in the 5th Infantry Division had to do the Expert Field Medical Badge, regardless of what unit you were in. Every medic had to do it. I'm 18 years old. First time I go to do it. I'm 18. They're telling me about it. They're telling me about how brutal it is. They're telling me about how bad it sucks. Man, we got to be in the field all this time. Pray to God it's not raining. You still got to go through it, blah, blah, blah. The field's going to be cold, blah, 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 blah. There's mosquitoes out there. I'm in the middle of Louisiana. There's copperheads out there. There's snakes. There's some alligators. There's all kind of critters out there. Spiders, brown recluses, chiggers. Worst thing ever. Mosquito bite ain't got nothing on a chigger bite. Chigger is another name for red bugs. Worst thing ever. Let me tell you something. What I went through out there, and they were like, look, if you fail this EFMB, you got to take it again. Got to take it again next year. I got out there. I was like, ain't no way I'm doing this twice. 18 years old. Ain't no way I'm doing this twice. You get through all of the stations, and then you got the final challenge is a 12-mile forced road march. They call it a forced road march because you got to do 12 miles in 3 hours. If you cross that 3 hours and 30 seconds, you failed. If you cross that finish line at 3 hours and 10 seconds, you failed. If you cross that finish line at 3:01, you failed. If you cross it at 3:00:01, you failed. Let me tell you something. I gave myself incentive. I said, what's the record? They said, man, the record is like 1 hour and 53 minutes or something like that. Or 1 hour and 50 something minutes was the record. I said, I'm gonna beat that. They're like, come on, Talford, man. Really? I said, listen, I'm gonna beat that record. What do I have to do to beat it? Well, man, you can't walk fast, whatever. You literally got to shuffle. It's almost like a marathon. You got to run, you got to jog. But think about it. You got your boots on. You're not wearing any sneakers. You got a pack on. You got your Kevlar. You got your water. You got your rifle. You got to do that. And you know what kind of shape you got to be in? I ain't worried about it. I'm gonna do it. When I got to the halfway point, the 6 mile marker, when we had to turn around, I was on pace for the record. I was on record pace. And then boom, calf blew out. Calf on one leg blew out. Then boom, the quad on the other leg blew out. Then boom, the quad on the other leg blew out. Then boom, the calf blew out on the other leg. And I'm struggling now. And I'm like, And I got a coach there. My coach is with me. Sergeant Juarez. He said, Talford, man, he said, F the record, T. You got to get across that finish line in 3 hours now. And now I'm worried because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't know if I'm going to make it. He finds an old stick, old tree limb about this long. He puts it in my hand. He says, Talford, he said, take this and help pull yourself along. Strap your 16 across your back. Strap your 16 across your back and pull yourself along. Drink some water. Stop. Drink some water. Sit down for a minute. Massage your thighs, whatever. Try to massage that cramp out. Okay, you're losing time. You got to get up. Got to get up. So I'm pulling myself. I'm pulling. So then he sees me struggling. So he knows how to trigger me. He's laughing at me. He said, "Come on, man. You got all ladies passing by you, man." Then he says, "Dude," he said, "you freaking look like Moses." He said, "Look at you. You're going to part the Red Sea or something." And I'm trying not to laugh, but I'm pissed at the same time. So I'm out here like Rocky, like. Aah! But you know what? I sucked it up. I sucked it up. I said, "How am I doing, Sergeant J?" He's 5 miles left. Come on, T, you got it. 4 miles left. Come on, T. Come on, T. 3 miles left. Pick your pace up. Pick your pace up. I'm out here hurting, y'all. I ain't never been in so much pain in my life. I don't know how my legs worked to this day. I don't know how I finished it. But I crossed that finish line in 2 hours and 53 minutes. I had 7 minutes to spare. I had tears in my eyes. I had tears in my eyes when I was laying down on the side of the road, resting for a minute and massaging my legs, not knowing if I was going to make it. And I'm not a crier, y'all. I had tears in my eyes. But I said to myself, ain't no way in hell I'm doing this again. Ain't no way. And I did it. I feel the same way about this life and this existence. So understand this. Understand, and I got final takeaway number 2 in there, but I already talked about it, the healing power of release. I'm in a different energy right now because I've learned the healing power of release. When you can truly release all attachments and just exist. This is going back to that video again, the one I talked about the fifth house and stuff. This is going back to that one. There's a reason why Moses was instructed to tell Pharaoh, tell him I am sent you. That strips all the labels. I exist. Tell him I exist, sent you. If you really want to reach your authenticity, get in that I exist energy. Tap into the God within you. Luke 17:21 says the kingdom of God is within you. Tap into that. If the kingdom of God is within you, then that I exist energy is within you. It's time to strip the labels and just be. I said to myself, you know what? Who would I be if I didn't care what people thought about me? Who would I be? There's healing power in releasing. And when I say release yourself from the expectations of others. That was my epiphany this morning. That was my epiphany. I have to release my expectations of others, and I have to free myself from their expectations of me. What do I expect of myself? That's all that matters. Because the truth of the matter is, the moment you change who you are to make somebody else happy, then you are no longer being authentic. And somewhere down the line, you're going to lose yourself. You actually lose yourself at that moment. But somewhere down the line, you're going to realize it. And don't let it be too late. Release yourself. There's healing in release. That's what I meant when I say release. Release yourself from these attachments. Release yourself from these desires that we have to impose our will on others. And then do not allow others to impose their will upon ourselves. Well, Bella, I think you should be doing this. You know what? If it's in alignment with what you should be doing, then it's confirmation, Bella. But if it's out of alignment, this is why, go back to that previous video. This is why you check in, you perceive, it hits your 6th chakra, you run it down to your heart, you run it down to your solar plexus, and you test it. Is this the word for me? If it is not, speak on it. Nah, that ain't my lot in life. That's yours. Okay? But if you want to be in a more powerful position, release yourself from expectations of others and release yourself from others' expectations of you and just exist. Because the truth is, when you get in the energy of just existing, then you're going to hit your authenticity, because guess what? The inner you takes over on autopilot. You are pre-programmed to come here and do certain things. The game The essence of the game is not allowing somebody to bump you off your path. It's like that game Frogger, that 1980s Atari game Frogger, where you got to ba-ding, 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 ba-ding. You got to get across that street, jumping on those logs without getting hit by a car or whatever, or getting eaten by one of those fish or whatever. So it's like playing Frogger. You got to get from this side to that side without getting squashed. Because guess what? You get squashed, boom, you're right back here again. You got to start over. Y'all, the longer I live, the more this thing is feeling like a video game. I'm telling you. The longer I live, the more this whole existence is feeling like a video game. And you see yourself in the ether when you go to sleep at night. And I told y'all this Pisces North Node was going to bring in some heavy dreaming. It's going to bring in some heavy dreaming. It was going to bring in some visions, all of this stuff. But I'm putting y'all on this game because I'm journeying here with y'all. I'm a fellow traveler. I know I got this platform. I know I'm on here teaching a lot of stuff, y'all. But at the end of the day, I'm a fellow traveler. I'm a fellow traveler. Maybe I help you on your journey. Maybe you help me. When we can coexist, just like those planets, just like the heavens, just like the stars, just like those constellations that do not change. What we have to understand is the conflict energy comes in because we've got a little of all of those energies inside of us. And then we got to deal with others that have those energies inside of them. Sometimes they're compatible. Sometimes they're not. But guess what? When they're not compatible, we don't have to fight in conflict. We don't have to. Those planetary energies we don't see them conflict. There's never been a day in recorded history where Mars has run into Venus, where they collided and pieces of Mars fell off or something. First of all, they're energies anyway. They're lights. They try to make them like these things that you can land on, and you can't. If we still believe in that BS, y'all, NASA tell you they sent a machine up, a flying machine that landed on an asteroid. Hey, we successfully landed a rover on a moving asteroid. Where's the video footage? Oh, y'all can do everything else. You can signal radio frequencies or whatever to communicate with something, but you can't see it. How you know how it's flying? Miss me with all that bull. Miss me with it. Miss me with it. It's a distraction. What are you trying to get me to look at? The healing power. There's healing power in release, y'all. Release and exist. I got a book coming out on it. I know I've been telling y'all for years. The book is finished. Not years. I'm sorry. Months. The book is finished. I just haven't published it yet. I just haven't gotten off my 5th point of contact and published it yet. The book is done. It's going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be eye-opening. Release yourself from these expectations that others have placed upon you, sometimes dating back to children. I did something to myself when I was a teenager that has taken me about 20-something years, 20, 30, what? Shoot, when was I a teenager? It's taken me almost 40 years to recover from, to come through a retrograde and realize, you know what? Run back to tape, Matt. This is where everything changed. Everything changed when you decided to be something that you weren't in order to make everybody else comfortable. And at the end of the day, how many years did you go not being comfortable? You went so many years being uncomfortable because you were trying to make everybody else comfortable. Nah, I got this saying, y'all. I say it a lot. People ask me about some of the stuff I say that challenges the status quo and that sometimes challenges what societal norms are. You know what I say? I say, I would rather put a smile on God's face and a frown on yours than a frown on God's face for putting a smile on yours. Nah, we ain't doing that over here. Because guess what? I got to get graded. I got to turn my paper in and get graded. I don't want that mark. I don't want that red mark on me. The God within told me to do this one thing. Why? Because that's in accordance with the contract that I have in the ether that I was sent here to do. He gave me this work to do. But when it came time to do it, I looked and said, well, my work goes against status. What you're telling me to do goes against the status quo. And that might offend somebody. And I don't want to offend nobody. So, I better not. Really, Matt? Who you work for? Who you work for? I remember when I was in corporate America, there were days where I wanted to take a sick day. And I was like, nah, man, I don't want them looking at me like he's taking a sick day. You got 10 sick days, Matt. You haven't used any. No, I don't want them. I know the cues are going to be kind of heavy today. I don't want to. Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, who gave you that job? Did I give you that job or did they give you that job? I'm telling you to stay home. You worried about what man is going to do to you. I'll tell you what, go in there if you want. I'm gonna show you who gave you that job. Like, no problem, Mr. Big Guy upstairs. Y'all know how we do. Hey, hey, this is Matt, y'all. I'm not gonna be able to come here today. Taking a sick day. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Y'all know how we do. Don't front. Quick cabby. Y'all don't act like y'all ain't never done that before. Don't act like y'all ain't never done that before. All right. Oh man. Yeah, that's all I got, man. Let me run down it real quick. Let me just run down real quick. So yeah. Basically, if you want to reach your highest potential, you can only get there via authenticity. That's the only way you're ever going to reach your highest potential. What does authenticity look like? It looks like being true to yourself and what you came here to do. It looks like not doing something just to make somebody else happy at your own expense. If it makes you happy, and I'm not saying that there aren't times that we're going to sacrifice, just don't do it too much. Don't do it to the point where it becomes detrimental. It's okay to sacrifice sometimes. Sometimes when we sacrifice, it actually puts a smile on your face. It warms your heart to see that it actually warmed somebody else's. But then you know who you can do it for. Are you sacrificing for somebody who reciprocates, or are you sacrificing for a user? Because if you're sacrificing for somebody who reciprocates, then it's just a circuit. It's equal give and take. But if you're sacrificing for a user, if you're pouring into someone or something or some job or whatever that's not pouring back into you, then you're getting drained. And it's not on them. It's on you. On the flip, don't keep yourself from something thinking that you're not worthy. You're lying to yourself. Well, I'm not saying you're lying to yourself. You just need to have a little bit more self-esteem. You really need to check yourself. Know yourself. Know your strengths. You want to know your strengths? Look at your natal chart. It's in there. Don't keep yourself away from something that your soul is pulling you toward because you feel unworthy. Or because, what are they going to say about me? That's one of the biggest things, y'all, that keeps us out of authenticity, worrying about what somebody might say or think about what we do. That's one of the biggest things that keeps us away from our authentic selves. And that is the thing that we need to release ourselves from. Let go. Don't be afraid to let go. Anything that you're afraid to let go of, let it go. Because if it's yours, it's always you can't lose what's yours, and you can't have what's not yours. That's how the universe works. If it's yours, you can't lose it. This is why I called out the so-called destiny swappers, attempted destiny swappers, because you can't swap destiny. If something is yours, you can never lose it. If something is not yours, you can never have it. Right? So don't worry about that. Exist. When you get into the energy of I exist, then everything works on autopilot. And then you're in tune with the cosmos, because the cosmos runs on autopilot. It runs on autopilot. It runs on autopilot. This is why these dark ones were trying to do all of this FKSHT for the last 3, 4, 5 years, because they knew they have seers and they have astrologers that told them that this time that we're in right now is coming. And they've been telling them, listen, you pay me to give you the truth. Any dark you trying to do, you want to do on this planet, you better do it before this time comes. If you don't get it done, if you don't get it put in place by the time Pluto enters Aquarius, by the time that North Node hits Pisces, you're not going to be able to. Something else is you've lost the initiative, and you've lost your opportunity to do it. But guess what? See, this is why I told y'all the other time, the enemy, the so-called devil, he moves quick. He's on a rapid time slice. He's on a rapid time. Like, he needs turbo. He got to hit turbo. The Most High, the universe, it just moves in divine timing. It's like, I ain't got to chase you. Your time is coming. I ain't got to chase. It's coming. Boom. What you think you stopping, you're not going to stop. I'm going to let you run. All you're really doing is building karma. So all of these wicked ones around the planet that's been doing all of this, they've been doing for the last 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 100 years, 500 years, 1,000 years, all this stuff they've been doing. It's true up time now. It's true up time. Now they got to pay. Now the bill is due. Now the bill is due. It's time to pay. Karma don't miss. Karma don't miss nobody. Well, all karma is the universal comptroller. She pays what is owed. If you're owed blessings for doing righteous works, you can't outrun your blessings. They're coming to you. I know a lot of us think that I put myself in that. A lot of us thought these things were never going to come in. God said he ain't slack concerning his promise. He's not slack concerning his promise. He said, if it's yours, it's yours. All you got to do is wait on it. He said, all these things come in due season. You can't drop a seed in the ground today and tomorrow eat the fruit from it. It don't work that way. Everything that's due to you comes in due season, whether it is blessings or whether it's curses. It's coming in due season. So that's all I got, fam. Let me read some comments and we get out of here. Ooh, got a lot of comments. Let's see what we got here. Oh, let's see. Bella said, Matt talking about a lot of people I know, shaking my head. May they be set free. Thank you, Bella. I'm with you on that. May they be set free. Fair, you said I should practice being more assertive. Yup, practice. The more you practice, the better you get at it. The more confident you get. Just because mastery, keep building knowledge and skills. Yup. Live Rock said, I'm fixed. I need stability. It's hard to leave people, places, and things I put in work to get. The universe has to shake up for me to move. Yeah, that's tough when you got those fixed placements, Live Rocks. But I'm gonna tell you something. Again, if you just pay attention to your natal chart placements and maybe get a soul contract reading to help put you on task. But if you pay attention to those things, it'll help you to do a check-in. It'll help you with like your milestones. It'll help you to check your waypoint and see, am I on task or is there something? And really, it's already, all that stuff is confirmation. You kind of already know because it's in you. So that was big of you to say that, because that's the case for a lot of people. Y'all hear me reference tarot a lot. Let me give y'all some divine instruction that came to me, okay? And this is another revelation. I'll do this as an aside. The tarot, the major arcana. There are two Scorpio energies in that major arcana of the tarot decks. There's the Death card and the Tower card. Both of those are Scorpio energy. Scorpio is the energy of transformation, right? So the Death card is transformation and the Tower card is transformation. But here's the difference. The Death card is self-transformation. The Death card is, okay, Death card energy is, hey, you know what? It's time for me to change. It's time for me to die to the old so that the new can come forth. It's time for me to let this old thing go so that something new can manifest in my life. That's the Death card energy. The Tower comes out when you refuse to be in that Death card energy. That Death card energy says, I'm going to change. All right. That Death card energy is Romans 12:2. Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. All right. And speaking on that Romans 12:2, for those of y'all that have third house Scorpio placements or 12th house Scorpio placements, that is especially unique to you. Why? Because Scorpio is the energy of transformation. The third house is the house of the conscious mind, and the 12th house is the house of the subconscious mind. So when it says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that's Death card energy. That's an instruction. Renew your mind so that you can transform. That actually helps with what we're talking about tonight. Sometimes you have to renew your mind so that you can step into your authenticity. Sometimes taking on the expectations of others get you out of alignment with your authentic self. So in order for you to transform and get in alignment with your authentic self, you have to renew your mind. Romans 12:2. That was an instruction. That has nothing to do with religion. This is why I keep telling y'all, that's why I've been beating the drum for the last 5 years that the Bible is not a religious book. It's a spiritual book. It makes you look at it differently. It's an instruction book. It's a prophecy book. This is why I talk identity and prophecy on here all the time. If your pastor ain't talking identity, you know what? I ain't even talking about them no more. That season's over with too. That season's over. Church and organized religion is going out with the age of Pisces. Some people don't want to hear that. But it's a product of the age of Pisces. So how can a product of the age of Pisces carry over into the age of Aquarius? How can a product that requires belief carry over into an age that is about knowing? When you know, you no longer need belief. You believe in that thing which you do not know. Once you know it, there's no need to believe it anymore. I don't believe my name is Matthew. I know my name is Matthew. I don't believe I'm wearing a black shirt. I know I'm wearing a black shirt. Okay? If you weren't watching this video when somebody said Matt's wearing a black shirt, you'd have to believe him because you don't see me. Right? But once you see me, you don't have to believe it anymore. Yeah, I believe you. Anyway, so yeah, be transformed. So I was saying that death card is self-transformation. That tower card, when you look at the imagery on it, it's a lightning bolt coming out of the sky, striking a tower and destroying it. You know what that is? That's called divine intervention. That says that's the Most High saying, well, I gave you an opportunity to change on your own. Now it's going to be painful. You're going to change. Now I'm forcing you to change. So that's what that looks like, Lyrox. When the universe has got to shake stuff up for you to move, that's that tower card. All right. Some people don't like to see the tower card come out of a tarot spread. I appreciate it because I'm like, all right, this is God saying he ain't playing with me no more. All right, since you wouldn't do it, I'm gonna make you do it. Boom. Now it's done. Now it's done. You wouldn't change. I'm forcing you to change. It didn't have to be painful. If you had just done it on your own, you were destined. How about that? You were destined to change. When you're a chosen one, you're gonna hit your destiny. Anybody, your destiny. Listen, if you're a chosen one and it was scripted for you to hit that destiny in this lifetime, then you cannot be delayed beyond this lifetime. You can try to delay yourself, but it's going to be painful. You're going to have a Jonah moment. You can get to Nineveh with some fresh clothes on and some cologne, or you can get to Nineveh smelling like fish and needing a shower. How you want it? You're still going to Nineveh. If I told you to go to Nineveh to preach, you going to Nineveh to preach. How you get there is up to you. You can do it the easy way, you can do it the hard way, but you're going to do it. All right? So that's that tower card. A lot of people don't like the tower card. I can say I appreciate it, but I would, if I had my choice, I would rather use the death card approach. I'd rather just change on my own. I'd rather do the self-transformation rather than the divine intervention stepping in and making me transform. So I get it. Lyrock, Scorpio. I love that. But you gotta be able, authenticity says, I know it's time for me to change. Let me just go ahead and make this change now. It's going to be easier if I do it. Okay. Beauty of core. Needing stability will trap you. Slavery to match point. Not easy. Yeah, it is. I know that's hard. But again, when you understand that if you just go, everything that you need will be provided to you. It is. I still have a real estate license. I don't actively practice anymore, but I would actually sort of mentor some of the other or coach some of the other agents. And one of the things I would say when we had agents that were having a difficult transaction that seemed next, and I don't mean difficult like some transactions are difficult. It's the difference between having a difficult transaction and a difficult client. Some clients just are wasting time. They really, you 4 months with them and you showing them everything they said they wanted and they still ain't making a move. I'm like, listen, if you let this client go and say, hey, look, maybe I'm not the agent for you, I promise you there's another deal waiting right around the corner for you. It has never failed. And typically that next deal would have netted them a little bit more than they were going to get in this other one. So sometimes you got to have that inner knowing, sight unseen, that inner knowing that says, you know what, whatever it is, this no longer serves me. I have to let this go because this is now affecting my health. When it gets to the point where it's affecting your health, you really need to let it go. Okay? Matt, you were so right. This is like hitting me after being my father's deathbed for 2 weeks. I'm sorry to hear that, Beauty of Core Physics. I'm really sorry to hear that. I wish you nothing but peace and comfort on that. But thank you for saying that. That's all I kept coming back to. Integrity. Forget about what you eat, drink. Authenticity is the vibe. That is so true. That's really the vibe. Detachment is painful for me, but I know it. I'm always addressing it. Thank you for being courageous enough to say that, Beauty of Core Physics, because somebody else needed to hear that. It's difficult for a lot of people. That epiphany this morning has really upgraded me to the point where now I can just do it. Because I realize that, you know what? I'm okay. I exist. The more I love myself, the more I'm going to attract the things in my life that I need and I desire. That's how it works. So you got to take that same love and turn it right back around and give it to yourself. And that's part of being authentic too. I'm an Aries, solo all my life. Sag rising, truth seeker first. Yep. I love Sag rising. Y'all, wow. Sag rising, y'all got that. Y'all gifted. Y'all, everything y'all touch turns to gold, so to speak. That's that Jupiter influence on that whole chart. I love it. And other thing about Sag rising, let me come back to that. You were Aries with Sag rising, beauty of core physics. Let me tell you something. Sag risings, I know, have a lot of haters. And you know why? It's because Jupiter is an expander. So when Jupiter is your chart ruler by reason of Sagittarius being your rising sign, everything that you do is big. It's bigger. Every one of your placements is going to be bigger than average. Every one of your placements is going to be bigger than average when your chart ruler is Jupiter. So that's too much for some people. Some people hate on that because they're like, who she thinks she is, who he think he is. How she get that? How he get that? That's a gift. It's a gift. It's a gift. Thank you for sharing that. Space Elf said friendships have always been hard for me. I can't do surface level. I get that. I so get that. Some people can. I'm with you on that. That surface level stuff, that's a waste of my time. I could be at home watching Netflix or YouTube. Bella said right on expenses. Yup. They want us to make the money to be a consumer. Absolutely. And while we're consuming, them and their families are eating off the work that you're putting in, and they're not working. As my dad said, they wouldn't hit a lick of the snake. Bella said, man, Matt, it takes people years to realize this. By the time my dad had me, he was already retiring. So I've seen a lifetime of what not to do that my peers now do. Buying their slaves. Yup. Thank you for sharing that, Bella. Through say dumber people make the most money, like Kylie Jenner. Kylie's she was set up by her mother too, though. I mean, that's kind of what happens when you're born into it. They got all the connects, so all they got to do is connect their kids. So yeah, that's kind of that kind of comes with that. She said, "Oh, hearing some of this from Wise. Thank you for saying that, Bella. Thank you. Let's see. Everything I need. Thank you, B Royalty. Anya's intuitive. Your destiny is always protected by the unseen forces. Absolutely, Anya. Absolutely. Your destiny is protected. Only person that can delay it really is you. But if you delay it, that just means you got to come back here and do it again. And God forbid you accumulated any karma on the way, because now you got to still finish your assignment. Plus, you got to go to after school suspension. Still got to do your homework and then sit in after school suspension. Was Matt ever in after school suspension? What does Matt know about after school suspension? Don't let the smile fool y'all. I was a little, I had my moments being disruptive in class. I had my moments, okay? Confirmation, no, they try to bully people they envy. Yup. Ignoring their own whole path. Whole time. Yup. Karmics, yup. Definition of karma, right there, Bella. Right there. Yo, they think it's easy. They always do. You don't even think it's easy, but because that was what you were chosen to do, you make it look easy. They say, oh, man, if she can do it, I know I can do that. If he can do it, I know I can do that. Yeah, right. Bella said they think it's easy. I got it. Got that one. In your lane. In your mountain lane. Yup. Gratitude. Thank you, B Royalty. I'm with you on that. I definitely don't want to do it anymore. 1 hour. That's straight cross-country cats. LOL. It was an hour and some change, but yeah, Bella. And I didn't run cross country. I ran track, but I did not do cross country. That was not for me. That run sounds brutal. It was wicked. It was brutal. But because that was the last stage and I passed all the other ones, there was no way I was going to fail. Thank you, Space Elf. My word for this year is surrender. Surrender is another word. Thank you for saying that, Space Elf. Surrender. Surrender to divine will. Surrender to divine will. Remember that divine will is not outside of you, it's inside of you. Luke 17:21. The kingdom of God is within you. Surrender is the word. And that's exactly what I thank you for saying that, Space Elf. Thank you for saying that's exactly what I did this morning. When I got that download, I just surrendered. I said, you know what? I can let all of this stuff that I have in my head, the way I think stuff's supposed to be, I just surrender it and give it back to the universe. I can let this go. I can let this go and just be me. It's like I walked out of a cage that I put my own self in. It's like I literally opened up the door and walked out of a cage that I put myself in. Thank you for saying that, Space Elf. Thank you. Fanny said, be as you are. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not sure who Ramana Maharshi is, but I might look that up. Ramana Maharshi. Let me write that down really quick. Thank you. Y'all be giving me some stuff to look up, man. I appreciate y'all. I really do. Ramana Maharshi. Got it. Thank you for adding that, Fanny. Okay. Mike said, I was trying to tell my bro that Crimea could be the world's timeshare war, torn families to heal, but he thought I was trying to take over the world or something. Typical day. I was telling my bro that Crimea could be the world's timeshare. Not sure what you mean there. Beauty of core physics said, OMG, totally. Yeah. So listen, family, that's all I got. I wasn't supposed to go over 2 hours. I don't know how I keep doing this, y'all. I don't know how I do it. I guess it ain't. I don't know how I do it. I don't know how I do it. This should have been an hour. But sometimes I just go. So I appreciate y'all for sticking around. If you haven't done so already, please, on your way out, tap that like button for me. If you are new to the channel and you enjoy being entertained, educated, uplifted, inspired, hit that like button and make sure you set your, hit that subscribe button and make sure you set your notification bell to all so that you'll be notified when I upload new content or when I'm live, okay? And y'all just remember, authenticity is the way. Authenticity is inextricably linked to your destiny. If you are not being authentic, you will never achieve your destiny. You have to operate in the energy of authenticity. Some people say it's the highest vibration, but you have to operate in the energy of authenticity if you are going to hit your destiny. Point blank, period. Learn the subtle art of release. Listen, learn how to release and let go. Learn how to surrender. What are you surrendering to? You're not surrendering to the will of another. You're surrendering to the divine will that is encoded within you. Okay? All right? So I thank y'all for being here tonight. And Lai Rocks, thank you. You are so welcome. Lai, just out of curiosity, are you October or November Scorpio? Just out of curiosity. I would know before we go. Yeah, I want to know. This is out of curiosity. Because all the Scorpios I know, and I know a lot of them, only 2 of them are October. So the overwhelming majority is November. Starting with my brother. That was the first Scorpio I knew, my older brother. November. Oh, wow, that's my brother's birthday. Wow. That is my brother's birthday. That's crazy. That is crazy. My brother and my nephew, his son, has the same exact birthday. So, wow, that's crazy. Well, shout out to you. I love my Scorpios. I do. Bella said, I hope Matt has 1 million followers one day. Thank you so much, Bella. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. And Billy got some work to do. Hotshot, thank you so much. Thank you for agreeing to be a moderator, Hotshot. Thank you for being a longtime member of the family. I do appreciate you so much. So, y'all, I love y'all. I'm going to sign out right now. I was going to eat something after I signed off, but it's like almost 11 o'clock. I might skip it tonight, so I don't know. But then again, I don't know. I ate late last night. Okay. I went double there. I ate late last night and had that vivid dream. I don't know. Maybe I'll spin it. Maybe I'll spin the block and see if I can do that again. So anyway, y'all, man, I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for being here tonight. And if you know anybody that might benefit from this content, hit that, just tap that share button and share it with one person that you know might benefit from it. But that's the message, y'all. Authenticity, that's the way. That's the way. Don't let anybody impose themselves on you, and don't impose yourself on anybody else. That's the release part. Matt is no longer imposing himself or the way he thinks things should be on anybody. I'm just here to exist and finish my work and turn in a paper and get a good grade on it. I'm trying to turn my paper in and get a good grade. And the way things are going, and according to the prophetic books, that turning into the paper is probably going to happen right here. It's probably going to happen right here. That if you know prophecy, it's kind of scary time we living in, y'all, but it's a beautiful time too. So it is what it is. But thank y'all so much. She said, supermarket. I forgot, Bella. I did forget. I forgot. Oh man. See, I completely see. If I had remembered, Matt, this timer so you could get to the supermarket, that just goes to show you I surrendered to divine will. There you go. There's that last example. Y'all be easy, man. Y'all have a great night. I love y'all. Peace.